Shouldn't have took my hat off, but oh well. Anyways, so this morning I wanted to share from Elijah or First Kings. Sorry, I want to share from First Kings, verse 19, 1 through 4. It's about Elijah, or excuse me, and it shows how fear can overcome us, even after we had just had a great victory over God's enemies. Um, something so We've done something so supernatural because of what God has done through you that you know you're at this very high, but then all of a sudden you crater to a very very low part, um, because maybe we realize that uh, I don't know. Anyway, let me read it first. My mind just went pew. So let me read this first. Uh, 1 Kings 19, starting with verse 1. When Ahab got home, he told Jezebel everything Elijah had done, including the way he had killed all the prophets of Baal. So Jezebel sent this message to Elijah: May the gods strike me and even kill me if by this time tomorrow I have not killed you just as you killed them. Elijah was afraid and fled for his life. He went to Beersheba, a town in Judah, and he left his servant there. Then he went on alone into the wilderness, traveling all day. He sat down under a solitary broom tree and prayed that he might die. I have had enough, Lord, he said. Take my life, for I am no better than my ancestors who have already died. So, I said, Elijah had this great victory for God. Um, and it's where um, it was the where he had watched all these prophets of Baal try to call upon their God, to the point to where they were cutting their own selves and everything like that. Of course, nothing happened, and Elijah um, built an altar, built a trench, and had water all around this altar, and had water doused on this wood several times, um, to where you know to where there's no way a fire should be able to even light, uh, much less dry it out. And he prayed to God to come and consume the altar, and of course God did. I mean, he consumed it so much that there was nothing left, not even the water or the wood. It was just gone, by a pillar of fire they sent down. So he had this great, humongous victory, um, for God. And then, of course, God killed all the prophets of Baal there. And so Jezebel was turning her people away from God. She had nothing to do with God. All those prophets of Baal were hers. So when she found out what had happened and that Elijah was part of it, she vowed to have Elijah killed. Well, despite this great victory and witnessing what God could do at his request, fear still overtook him. He became afraid for his own life, forgetting the great um, miracle that God, or the great display of power that God just showed him. He was afraid so much that he left his assistant in a town and went on by himself. And I think he realized his weakness, And because of his weakness, he wanted God to take his life out because instead of standing and being bold, he ran and fled. Um, and so he told God that he was no better than his ancestors before him because uh, he allowed his fear to overcome him. Um, but when we read further down, God sends an angel to supply him food, and he gets to Mount Sinai, and you know, and instead of punishing Elijah, uh, God actually gives him instructions, and then of course he follows his instructions. But point is, we could have a great victory for God. Um, we can see a great miracle or a great work through us come about because of God or because of what Christ has done. And then any little opposition after that get um, in our own fear and our own doubts can cause us to panic, create or run, whatever. And we shouldn't. We should be able to stand our ground. We shouldn't be afraid. You know, God could have killed Elijah for running, but he didn't. He actually provided for him to allow him to get to Mount Sinai, and then gave him his next instructions. So whenever we have a great victory with God, and all of a sudden we feel fearful and we want to run, we need to ask God for strength and stand our ground. Um, because there's nothing more powerful than God. There's nothing more powerful than the blood of Jesus Christ, and that's what we need to remember. So with that, I love you guys. You have a blessed day, and we'll see you tomorrow.